From the 1930s to about the 1960s, the women's film was a popular genre of cinema that starred women and was mainly about women. Today, if you hear the term women's film, you might automatically think of the term chick flicks, and from there you start thinking about rom-coms. But the women's films of Hollywood Golden Age are a little bit more complicated than that. In her book, A Woman's View, Janine Basinger defines the women's film as a movie that places at the center of its universe a female who is trying to deal with the emotional, social, and psychological problems that are specifically connected to the fact that she is a woman. A variety of films fall under this umbrella term of women's films: melodramas, screwball comedies, musicals, psychological thrillers, noir, and etc. Not all, but most women's films try to teach its female audience some kind of lesson about what it means to be a woman. A happy ending in a women's film often has the woman conform to societal pressures and norms that are often at odds with the rest of the film, while bad endings often have women punished for not following those norms. My favorite trope that these films use to teach this lesson to the audience is the good girl versus the bad girl. The good girl and the bad girl represents the different facets of what makes a woman beautiful and how she should behave to be truly beautiful and to be a good woman. Films that use this trope follow a particular formula. The good girl is usually frumpy, gentle, and doesn't care about her looks. Meanwhile, the bad girl is sexy, flirty, and glamorous. So usually the bad girl gets the guy, if there is one, and there is usually always a guy. But soon we learn that the bad girl is too good at being bad, which is not good. The movie usually ends with the good girl getting the guy and the bad girl dead. Most of the time. This video essay will look at a few different women's films from different genres and years that all use this trope of the good girl versus the bad girl. In A Stolen Life, Kate, the good sister, falls in love with Glenn Ford's Bill. One day, Bill accidentally meets Kate's twin, the bad sister, Pat. Bill is immediately attractive to Pat. There's just something about her that is just different from her sister, which Bill explains in this
You're a
bizarre
slow
speech.
person. I always knew that, but, well, it seems that there was just something lacking. Maybe I can explain it this way. It's like you were a cake.
A cake?
Yes, a cake without any frosting. And I guess most guys, they kind of like the frosting. You know what I mean?
Today you think I'm well frosted.
Bill and Pat end up getting married, and Kate is left heartbroken. You see, Pat has a tendency to steal away men from Kate, and she has done it again, this time stealing a man she really loves. Later, Pat and Kate go on a boating trip, when a horrible storm knocks the boat over, causing Pat to be lost at sea. But of course, not before Kate is able to accidentally obtain her wedding ring. When she wakes up at the hospital, she's mistaken as Pat. So Kate decides to pretend to be her sister so she can have the man of her dreams. But she soon learns that Pat's and Bill's marriage is on the rocks, mainly because Pat wouldn't stop having affairs with men, and because she wasn't a supportive wife to her husband and his career. The film ends with Bill learning the truth, but not really caring because, well, Kate was the better woman anyways for him, right? And they end up happily ever after. In A Stolen Life, Pat is seen as beautiful because she cares about her looks and has an air of confidence and allure about her. Throughout the film, Kate is often berated for speaking her mind too much and not having enough sex appeal, almost as if it's her fault that her sister stole her man. But like most women's films, A Stolen Life contradicts itself, because we learn that all the qualities that make Pat attractive also makes her a bad wife, which is of course the worst thing a woman can be. Pat is punished because unlike her sister, she's not willing to do anything for her man. Leave Her to Heaven follows Richard, a writer who meets a set of cousins, Ellen and Ruth. Ellen, the bad cousin, wears fur coats, refuses to be subservient, and is possibly the most captivating woman you've ever seen, which is why Richard immediately marries her. But Ellen begins to become controlling. She wants Richard all to herself, and becomes irrationally jealous of everyone, including Richard's disabled younger brother Danny, which leads to one of the most iconic moments in film where Ellen tricks Danny into going for a swim and coldly watches as he drowns. Later in the film, Richard and Ellen move in with her mother and good cousin Ruth, where she gets pregnant. But during her pregnancy, Ellen is bedridden, mandated by the doctor, and she starts to become jealous again at just how much time Ruth and Richard are spending together, while she's stuck in bed. Which leads to her, of course, killing her baby by throwing herself off the stairs. Leave Her to Heaven has probably one of the most iconically evil characters of all time in Ellen. She's cruel, calculating, and worst of all, refuses to be subservient to her man. The problem with Ellen is that she has to have all the control, and she has to know everything about Richard. Like she says,
"You can't have any secrets from me."
the most evil thing about Ellen, though, is her resentment towards her unborn child. Throughout the pregnancy, she is unhappy, and only had the baby to keep Richard from leaving her. The fact that Ellen doesn't want the baby is treated with the same weight with the way she murdered a young boy earlier in the film. Almost as if the fact that she doesn't want to be a mother is a crime just as bad as murder. The film ends with Ellen poisoning herself and framing Ruth, which leads to a strange trial sequence where the truth is revealed anyways. Ellen ends up dead, and Ruth and Richard end up happily ever after. Something Borrowed follows Rachel, a certified good girl who's in love with her best friend's fiancé. See, Rachel and Dex, the fiancé, were friends in law school, and Rachel had a huge crush on him, but he was stolen away by her best friend Darcy, a certified bad girl. When Rachel directly confesses her feelings to Dex, they begin an affair, which leads to a lot of drama that you can expect from a modern-day rom-com. We later learn that Darcy has also been stepping out on Dex, and is now pregnant with another man's baby. Very convenient. Out of all these films, Something Borrowed probably gives the most grace to the bad girl character. There's a scene where Rachel even says that Darcy didn't necessarily take Dex away from her, but that she gave him up to her. Still, the film leaves a bitter taste in one's mouth. Darcy isn't the greatest friend, but the movie wants you to believe that this friendship being torn apart is the true tragedy of the film. Yet, the film ends with Darcy tearfully and unconvincingly telling Rachel that she's happy now that she's pregnant and single. And Rachel and Dex end up, you guessed it, happily ever after. All the bad girls in these films always end up punished one way or another. By the end of their films, Pat is dead, Ellen is dead, and Darcy is pregnant by a bum. And yes, at least one of these female characters is pretty evil, but how does that evil manifest? In Leave Her to Heaven, Ellen's biggest crime is that she isn't motherly, which is evident in her resentment towards Danny and her unborn child. Pat and Darcy are the least evil out of the three, yet they're still punished for not being good women. Pat slept around and ended up dead, and Darcy cheated on her man and lost him to her BFF and ended up knocked up, which honestly feels like a punishment in and of itself due to the way the film handles her character. Warning, if you act like a slut, you'll be aptly punished. These films all fall under different genres, drama, noir, and rom-coms. Yet, despite the differences in genre and the years that come in between the first two movies and Something Borrowed, they all serve to hold up particular standards of what a woman should be like and what will happen to women if they don't follow these standards. All of these films are entertaining in their own way. A couple of them are even great films. But it's a little weird watching them, knowing that they are meant to be cautionary tales of what will happen to women if they ever break the rules.